Apothecary Diaries, Season 2, Episode 18. Jinshi not doing great. Maomao, on the other hand, doing alright. Episode 42, Lantern Plant. Right, it was the labor. Thank God we got Lawman. And you're also there. Oh? Why is that? Oh wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that was possible. We need her back. That's a long time. At first I thought this was going to be like rescue Maomao from the forest, but we're not in the vicinity anymore. 10 days is an eternity. 1 day is an eternity in this situation. And Jinshi knows nothing, so his imagination is running wild. I mean, she could be dead, she could be being tortured, all sorts of unspeakable things could be happening. Meanwhile, she's like at a festival. But like, you would never guess that. That's never where your mind would go in this situation. Only the worst. Man, he's like breaking. It's kind of cute. Stand back. Take care of the cat. Right. Oh no! Oh no! Oh my god, no, I can't believe it. Damn, that's so tragic. Lee hilarious. At this point, I just feel bad for him. Can't even do that right. Yeah, this is, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, actually, that is kind of weird. The fact that they only allow eunuchs in, at first glance, gives the impression that they're like hyper focused and conscious about security. But like, that's security against paternity, lineage. It's not security against invaders, people who want to do you harm. If she was able to get in as a eunuch, it means that even though there are 3 people doing the inspection, it must not be a very thorough inspection. Seems like a massive oversight in this palatial system that is otherwise extremely safe and things rarely go wrong. I don't know how I know this, but I know that there's a head lady to blame somehow. Probably Hongyang. Isn't this Jinshi's responsibility or accountability? Since you've been too busy hunting for ox bazaars for Maomao. Too busy dodging bullets, spending time in caves, showing Maomao's frog. North side. Okay, yeah, this is connecting. Maybe she's the child, the illegitimate child. It's dark. There's some understandable rage there. What do you know? You just look guilty. Okay, Maomao. Detective Jinshi. Alcohol. It's weird to turn on the charm now. Oh, that's weird. It's kind of creepy. And terrifying. Maybe that works, though. This man's crazy. He's out of his mind. Better tell him what he wants to know. Oh. Oh, that's... Yeah, okay, that she saw it. Oh, that's, I don't know, there's something really weird about that. That Jinshi's fake charm triggered memories of the creepy emperor. If that's deliberate and if that's what I think it is, or if that's the interpretation of it, that's amazing. This thing he's like turning on, you know, this sort of artifice, that's interesting. All the way to the candy. All he's missing is like a van. Oof. What? Don't force this out of her in front of everyone. Oh, this is crazy. That she knows this. We gotta kill her. There's no other option. She knows too much. Oh, well, she took care of that for us. He's just stunned. Oh man, he's shocked. Oh wow, some quick thinking. Maomao would be proud of everyone. That... Yeah, it was neither casual nor necessarily an insult. Well, I think the poison might be a bunch of things. It's not just that. Or maybe not that at all. He was once a human being. He was once, a young kid. He also was a tortured soul. I know that like it makes people uncomfortable to talk about people who've done terrible things with any sort of nuance because there's a fear that like that'll push them into the category where we identify them as good, and so we might start to condone everything they did and lose sight of the atrocity, etc., etc. But like he did a lot of unspeakably horrible things, and then also he was a broken child and apparently a very tasteful artist. All these things exist simultaneously, and I think that's sort of in the ballpark of an answer for Jinshi here, who seems alarmed that he can bear any sort of physical resemblance to him. Like, you know, he's still your grandfather. He did give you life in a sense, and you do bear his genes, and that's okay. It's in no way a condemnation of you. That will just come down to like who you are and what you decide to do. To take this in a crazy abstract, far too zoomed out direction, I find it very unlikely to think that there's a single person alive who doesn't have as an ancestor at least one person who committed some unspeakable evil. Putting aside sheer probability at first glance, given how many ancestors we have, also consider the fact that to do terrible things in many cases gives you a reproductive edge, right? Without any specific examples, let's say you conquer a land and kill all the men and then take all the women as your concubines. Well, you're going to have a lot of descendants, and the people who didn't do that in that land are not going to have descendants. Though that's less clear because there are counterbalancing forces where probably the people that were the most good were the most conducive to healthy societies and healthy families, and so it's people with those sorts of instincts and culture survived. I mean, it's probably just a mix of all that, right? For any sort of behavior type thing that humanity has universally, that means that behavior gave an edge to survival. Well, then that means our violent tendencies, for example, were a factor in the survival of our ancestors. And everyone has an ancestor then that had an edge on survival or reproduction through violence. Otherwise, we wouldn't have it, right? So it seems likely that no one can be totally innocent of the sins of their ancestors. And the question is what to do about that. Because if you're not a total nihilist, there is great beauty in life, and like life is a gift and a wonderful thing. Should I spend my life feeling guilty for that? And I don't want to say like there's no responsibility or there's nothing to that. If nothing else, because there's a little bit of callousness in there. That being said, what's the goal? And if the goal is to not do evil and to not do those things and to be good, then I don't know that the guilt in itself is useful. It can be maybe useful in spurring the positive action, right? Or avoiding the terrible deeds. But in that case, we can sort of isolate that it's about the good deeds or avoiding the terrible deeds. So the guilt is perhaps not the point. And I think it's okay to be grateful for what you are in your life, even knowing that you wouldn't be here without some serious atrocities. I think we have enough capacity to think about it with complexity and nuance, so we can recognize the sins of the past and, you know, not turn a blind eye to them or downplay them, but then also not be weakened by them, and instead they can be reminders of what the stakes are, why things are important, why goodness matters, etc., etc. You did you? Right. Right. Oh, that was your idea? That's interesting. Oh, I think I know where this story is going to go. Though it being his decision is sort of surprising to me. He's destined to be the emperor. I had the suspicion already, but like this is adding fuel to that. He's going to be the emperor with his choice of empress, and it's going to be Maomao. Actually, this sort of pokes a hole in a theory I had. In a recent episode, I was ranting about like how the system just isn't working for kids, and then in the middle of it, I had this realization that maybe the emperor just doesn't want to have kids. Maybe this is all deliberate. And later I was thinking, well, maybe the reason he put Jinshi in here is so that Jinshi can like find a partner, never expecting it to be Maomao, right? But I didn't realize that Jinshi wanted to be here. I mean, based on this, it almost seems like he's trying to manage the women to make sure that they're doing all right, to ease his guilty conscience, which maybe also partly adds to the motivation for wanting them to read, wanting them to be able to have careers outside of the palace, maybe just some generational guilt. I feel something. I feel something from watching Gingi going through this. Whose grave is it? This is important. Do what you can do for now. Yeah, what I was getting at was like all these designs we make to try to escape these things from ourselves, they have a funny way of like reinforcing the very things you're trying to escape. And you've done a whole lot of work to have all the exact same problems. There's no escaping it. I think we saw her. Right, there it is. To find the detective, you must first become the detective yourself. Oh, what? That's interesting. Wait, hold on, what? Here's Jinshi conjecturing. Oh, but you're... you're here. Maybe they're twins. There's two. I could have sworn, man, my memory's so bad, but I feel like I did see two of them at one point. Well, they all look the same. Who's the real Lulan? This is like the Spider-Man meme. Foxes. We saw the fox masks. There's a connection to that village. Okay. This could be makeup, just like Maomao. It's not her. She's not here. She's not here. She's not here. It's a doppelganger. Oh, this is very Maomao, but like way more direct and rude. Maomao would have figured it out and been like, I can't say anything. I gotta like hint at it subtly so I'm not rude. Unless someone's life is at stake, then I'm slapping someone. That's my job. That's starting to seem a little bit deliberate. Oh no, you're all terrible. You failed. You failed your mistress. This is the most I've ever seen Jinshi focus on his work. Sort of like the shell game. Yeah. She's free to move around. Damn, Jinshi finally laying down the hammer. And all it took was a kidnapping. Right, I mean, they're not the culprits. They're just following orders. Except for the head lady who's probably responsible somehow, just like Hongnang. Right, yeah, this is beyond like, yeah, it's not helping. You just lost control. Oh, so she's just gone, I see. I guess that was just to buy time. But like, what did they accomplish? She just took Maomao. Is that the whole thing? That's the game? She left 10 days ago. What about Shiso, her father? What's his involvement? What was Lacan hinting at? Not at first, but now. Now there's a festival. Launch the military. All of the army. Everyone. Step aside, army. I'm doing it on my own. Too many cooks. As usual. Oh, okay. That's not a good look. Maybe, but... yeah, there are multiple reasons for this. Multiple possibilities. Unclear if he knew, but yeah, suspicious. Yeah, where else are you supposed to put it? Oh, I have seen you in the intro. I think you were behind Lacan. Khan Lahan. Lacan and Lahan. So he's also a strategist? Adopted son. There it is. Okay. Hopefully he's more direct than Lacan. I guess. Oh, there's a grain conspiracy. Why does this remind me of ReZero suddenly? There's a grain and copper conspiracy, or iron conspiracy. So why the price rises? And roundabout. You do! Maybe preparing for war. Preparing for war. Secretly. Who has the money to single-handedly, or as a kingdom, raise the price of grain and iron? Yes, I'm also a little bit suspicious because you came out of nowhere. Yes, and what do you want? What bill? Oh yeah, he just went on a rampage. He did that single-handedly? Damn. It's exciting. He's excited. He's thrilled. Maomao turning into like Helen of Troy, you know, like not exactly launching a war on her behalf, but at least a major catalyst for Jinshi in this whole thing. Meanwhile, Maomao having a great time here of her own free will now. Huh. There's still a whole lot I'm not seeing. There are so many things about this that are really fun, really intriguing. Someone's preparing for war is my guess, which is kind of crazy. Lulan exposed, and then Shiso, who he doesn't seem as clever as Lacan, but he's been contrasted as sort of a rival for Lacan. So having him on the run as a potential enemy is intriguing. It's fun. You have like the fact that Maomao was kidnapped, but then it's not really hostile, or it's not getting the hostile treatment at all, which makes it seem like it was benevolent in some way, or maybe a request from Maomao Maomao. And honestly, I'm probably missing a whole lot, but I can't really think of another reason or a major reason for why Lulan was there. Like, what did she even accomplish? She like came in there, hung out with the emperor, and then took Maomao. I mean, maybe Maomao just interrupted it, so they fled, not knowing what else to do, but there's definitely a lot more to the story. It's not as it seems, and I don't really know who the villain is here. I don't know who the threat is, and I don't really even know what the motivations are necessarily. There's a bunch of things being thrown around that it could be, like there's the animosity towards the former emperor that may also have to do with the maternal lineage thing. It might all come down to a battle for power. And then also, like, great character episode for Jinshi. I think some really interesting questions. It's cool to see him spring into action. This is his job, right? And something has gone down in the palace, but like, would he be doing any of this, or would he be this motivated about it if it wasn't for the purpose of just rescuing Maomao? And like some foreshadowing, or what I'm taking as foreshadowing, of his inevitable rise to emperor, the very thing he's trying to avoid, in a sort of Zuko way, with Maomao as his empress. Also very poetic.